Sisters who watch. Sisters who watch. Sisters who watch.
Real
Housewives. Hey y'all, hey. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sisters Who Watch.
I'm Shelby.
And I'm Laura, and we're sisters who watch everything. TV, movies, sports, concerts, and even housewives fighting over the size of an esophagus. We love to watch, and we love talking about it even more. Today we're watching
The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 13 of Bravo's hit reality show.
That's it. Okay, and before we get into it, make sure that you are following Sisters Who Watch on all of our social media pages and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So you get updates when we post new episodes, and leave us a 5-star review and buy our merch. I'm wearing it right now. It's our cropped hoodie, so go support us. Oh my gosh, Shelby, we have a special guest.
So exciting! Ben Mandelker from the Watch What Crappens podcast is here with us.
Hi.
Ooh,
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. So exciting to have a true Bravo aficionado with us to discuss Beverly Hills and all things Bravo.
Well, I don't know if I'm more of a true aficionado than anyone else. I think as long as you watch the shows, you're an aficionado. Even if you watch one episode, you're an aficionado, right? Like everyone's entitled to their opinions about these wild people on TV.
That is so true.
And we'd love for you to introduce yourself to our audience, let people know what Watch What Crappens is about.
Well, hello, audience of Sisters Who Watch. So I'm from Watch What Crappens. We are a podcast that talks all about Bravo, everything about Bravo. There's actually too much Bravo for us to even talk about these days, but we try to get it all in. We are on really every single day. It's a daily podcast at this point, and we just recap everything. So check us out. We're on all the podcast platforms, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, anywhere. We're really all over the place because we can't help ourselves.
I have to say, I've been listening to Watch What Crappens for the past week, and y'all are so funny.
Hilarious.
I really have been loving the Vanderpump Rules analysis and the voices, especially the Sandoval and Schwartz voices. They're so good. So good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. And a special just for you, we create a brand new segment called the Bravo Breakdown. And we're going to do rapid fire questions about the Bravo universe, the Bravo celebrities. And you just got to give us your hot takes, okay?
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, perfect. Salt Lake City, Monica and Rowdy Von Teese, what do you think of the whole thing? Are you team Monica rightfully gone from the show? What do you think?
Oh, God, that's the hardest one to start off with. Like, I don't know. My take is like, I don't know if I have a hot take because I'm so conflicted. I still don't even know where I stand on it. Monica made for amazing TV. Honestly, okay, I will speak honestly. I want her to come back. What she did is really fucked up. Like that's really not cool that you have a burner account basically trolling your castmates.
Oof.
But we've also seen worse literally on that show with like Jen Shaw defrauding people for going away for a federal crime. Does not exonerate what Monica did. But Monica is just a fascinating person. I understand why they had to fire her. Apparently the trolling was worse than we saw. And you got to protect your cast, but also I think just like give the cast some months to cool down and then reflect on the fact that their show is better than ever. It's not just because of her, but Monica is pretty amazing. So yeah, I think she should come back.
I love it. So
it's a good take.
It's a good take, yes. And our mom loves Salt Lake City. Like that's the reason why we got into Bravo. And she was like, you gotta watch it. But I'd never seen it until this season because everyone was like, this was the best finale in Bravo history. So I was like, I gotta watch it. So I watched the finale and the reunion of Salt Lake City. I was living for Monica. I was like, she's an icon. Like, I need to see more of her. I have to.
I mean, she's a full disaster, like wretched human being. But she's fascinating. And she really messed up. Like I think she could have. I think the reunion was really a chance for her to she could have done a sob story. Well, look, how many movies have we seen where someone starts off with some sort of con? It's always like, well, I took you on a date and it started off as a prank, but then it turns out I really loved you and I'm really sorry. like it's not hard to say like I got in over my head, like they gave me this opportunity and I was like, this surely I won't get it, and then they cast me and I was like, okay, well, whatever. And then it turns out I became friends with you guys and I didn't really know what to do, and was so ashamed and I just feel so terrible. But she was totally like yeah, like so what, I did it, like whatever. And it's like, you're not going to stay on this show.
Yeah, she needed to have some kind of remorse or just something. She played the reunion
just
really
a sob story, play on all their heartstrings. Like, it's just me and my girls, and I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Like, anything. And instead, she was just like, you knew, the producers knew. It's like, she played it all wrong.
Totally.
Bad strategy. Okay, now on to Vanderpump Rules.
Yes.
How do you feel about this Tom Sandoval redemption storyline? Are we buying it?
No. Terrible. It's terrible. There's no redemption. He's awful. He's now like hanging out with, 15-year-olds, it feels like, at the pool. And like, this is ridiculous. And don't forget, this was filmed like last summer. I don't know if it was July or August or whatever, but Sandoval was very, very fresh. And he really has only been cast aside for the friend group for like 4 months. Like, he is going on the road with his band. I forget what the most extras, performing songs, like leaning into the whole Sandoval-ness of it all. He is capitalizing as well. He's been on reality shows. He just had a giant article in the New York Times Magazine, as like the most hated man in America, dude. And it's like, you are reaping the rewards as well, but you're gonna like act as if you are the biggest victim in this when you are the one who perpetrated the wrongdoing in the first place. Like, I know it sucks to lose your friends and it sucks to suddenly be hated by America. That does suck. But also, like, show some real contrition and like stop answering everything with an excuse for why you did it. So the answer is no, I'm not for this redemption storyline.
100%.
I love it because I feel like the edit on Vanderpump Rules this season is making us be like, wow, Ariana is so hateful. Her head is so big. And look at Tom, he's trying his best. Poor him.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that like we as a society have now been living in Sandoval for over a year, and we had intense rage, and then other things came along and we got distracted, and now we're sort of like, oh, we're still angry about this. But people forget this was filmed 9 months ago, 10 months ago, when we were all as angry as Ariana. But now people are like, I don't like that she's angry. Like, she should just like move on already. It's like, what is like it's lunacy what happens.
Absolutely. Okay, and now Katie, Joe, Schwartz, and now Tori. What do you think of this weird love square? What's happening?
Okay, we can just take Tori out of it. This is a non-entity storyline. This is a producer plant. I don't know. This is, no one cares. No one believes it. Tori coming in. She even admitted earlier in the season that she's an actress. So don't care. Like, she's out of the love triangle. Joe, on the other hand, I think it's a pretty interesting situation. I feel really bad for Joe. I feel like Joe seems like a pretty sweet, like kind of wacky girl who I really enjoy on the show because she's unlike everyone else who comes on the show. Like, everyone who tries to make it on Vanderpump Rules is Tori. Like, how many Tories have we seen? Like, well, just like 2 weeks ago, we saw someone named T who was like, hi, Tom Sandoval. And yeah, it's like Billy Lee, T, Tori, all these people. And Joe is just like this strange bird who comes in, clearly has feelings for Schwartz. They actually have chemistry. And he's like, screwing her in private, but then in public doing the whole thing like, oh, I just want to like date people. She deserves better. Like, really, most of the women on this show.
Yeah, I agree. The way he's really doing her dirty. The last episode, she was crying and leading her on. I feel really bad for her.
She gets it from all ends. The women hate her. The men treat her as disposably. Like, it's just a rough go of it for her.
Yeah, poor thing. And now we've heard that Lala unfollowed Katie and Ariana. Have you heard about this?
Oh, God. I did not hear about this. This is very exciting to hear.
Hot tea.
Breaking news. I mean, Lala's always trying to like make the splash in some weird way. And, she's always trying for that A storyline on the show. And she's always got the B storyline. And I think maybe it's just another ploy.
Ooh.
I mean, it's getting attention. My friend sent it to me today, being like, "Oh my gosh!" So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Lala's a little thirsty, that's for sure.
She is. I mean, we talk about this on Crappens that like every time you can tell she's like, okay, here it comes. I got a big A storyline. Okay, Rand just cheated on me and left me, and I've got a baby. Hello, this season is mine. It's like, guess what? Sandoval.
Girl.
Has not worked for her yet, but she's going to keep trying.
Yep.
Now for Potomac, a franchise we have historically really liked, but recently has been struggling.
Rough.
How are you feeling about Candace and Robin not coming back for the next season?
I think that's for the best. I think I used to really enjoy Robin, and like over the past 2 or 3 years, she sort of like descended into bitterness. Like I think COVID messed her up. She just did not emerge from COVID as an enjoyable person, and I think she's covering up stuff for Juan. She's not being a forthcoming housewife, and for that's a cardinal sin in my book. The moment you hold back and you try to self-produce, you're out, because it's like to me that's like a disease on a cast. And one person does it, then other people do it. So one could make an argument that the demise of this entire season is because of Robin doing that. And then Candace, I think Candace is checked out. I think Candace is like, she got some traction with her music career. We all kind of like Drive Back. And, you know, not going to lie, I listened to it. You know, she has a song with Trina, so she's on the way up. And I think that she's just like, I think she's viewing herself as a recording artist, not a reality star. And you can just tell, I feel like she was half-assed this season. I know she was pissed at Giselle and Robin, but it was more than that. I think she's just not in it. So I'm like, it's time for both of them to move on.
I think that's a really good point about Candace. Now that I think about it, she didn't seem super engaged. And what was her storyline this season? Like, she didn't really have much.
She actually had
going
none.
on. Yeah, it's like she was just there.
She had a feud with Robin that never made sense to me all season. This like wild claim that the only reason why Robin was being nice to her last season was as a cover-up for Juan's misdoings. And that's why Candace that's why she was so mad that she was willing to end a friendship over a conspiracy theory. It like never made sense until the reunion, where it's like, oh, what happened was when Candace said the white adjacency thing, and Robin was pissed about that, and then Candace was like, are you mad? And Robin never responded. Candace did that thing where it's like, oh, you're gonna be mad at me? Then fine, I'll be 10 times madder at you. And that's what the whole season was.
Yeah,
just a lot of people mad at each other who don't like each other.
Not talking.
Yeah,
show is in the shitter right now.
It really is. Going off of that, like, what changes need to be made to the Potomac Housewives for the season to be watchable again?
Well, I think it's good that we're shedding Robin and Candace. You know, I think like it'll be great to have Candace come back, but I think she needs to go away for a moment because she's just not focused on the show. And from what that's how it comes off, I should say. The executive producer, Eric Fuller, I believe, has left the show. I think that was something I had heard. I don't know if he's responsible for the things that have gone wrong, but I think that like there's something to be said for like, this is not just Candace and Robin or even the cast. Like there's just like bad choices made by production, bad storytelling choices. I was just talking to someone who's a reality TV producer, and they said, and she said that, you know, at the outset of a season, producers really sit down and are like, okay, what is the story we think we can get out of this? Like, where do we think this is going to head? How can we sort of shape this? And if this is how they shaped it, if this is what they do on Potomac, there was like a failure on a production level. So I think they really need to like clean house on that with producers.
I think we forget that like they're producers. Like this is a production. There are other people like pulling strings, and it's not just the cast who's struggling.
Yeah. And honestly, Eric Fuller, so again, I don't know the degree to which he is involved and to which one could blame these problems on him. But what I will say is that he was also a producer on Atlanta this past season, and Atlanta also had a miserable season. And part of me wonders, like, is this person the common thread? I don't know. But, you know, if I see someone who's an executive producer and he's on 2 shows that are like formerly like top tier shows on Bravo, and then suddenly they're garbage, I'm gonna blame who's in charge.
Yeah.
As you should.
As I should. As we all should.
Makes sense.
You can't really blame. I mean, you can blame the cast sort of. If the cast is not doing what they should be doing, which is like engaging with each other and being honest, you can blame the cast. But I think we all know that like between Atlanta and Potomac, there are like major superstars who know how to make good TV. And I also believe, as an outsider, that part of being a producer is wrangling in the egos. And what happens on these shows is that people get really big egos, and then they start to self-produce and they decide what they want to do, what they want to shoot, da 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 da. And I think as producers, you got to be able to like manage your cast, because if your cast is managing you, you're going to get bad TV.
Good.
Everyone listening, if there are any producers, take note.
Out there.
Listen to Ben's advice. A lot of gems being dropped.
Listen to my advice that I'm giving from someone who does not work in reality TV and never has, and just going off instinct. So yeah, it always works so well in so many other fields, right?
Yes.
Last question about Potomac. Mia and Radio Personality Inc. Thoughts?
I mean, this is so interesting, this like late season scandal that she's been trying to like squeeze out all season. Like every time they're like, well, I heard that you were sleeping with a rapper. I wasn't a rapper. And like then no one asks her any more questions. And she's like, I'm not saying I'm cheating on anyone, but if anyone wants to press it, I will be meeting someone tonight at a restaurant at 8 p.m. if anyone wants to come and see me with someone else. Anyone? But she finally got that scandal out there. I think it's a weird situation. It's really weird.
Feels very random. Yeah.
Yes.
It feels like the kids are going to need a lot of therapy pretty soon.
Praying for the kids. Praying for the kids.
This is like so messed up. Like these kids,
so messy.
As they get older and as they watch this or as they hear about it, they are going to be supremely, confused. And they're going to need to get into therapy as soon as possible.
Now time for some just general Bravo questions.
Great.
Who is your favorite housewife or Bravo celebrity of all time?
Countess Luann de Lesseps, my favorite of all time.
Iconic. Money can't buy you class.
Money can't buy you. I mean, her journey, like, if someone made a movie about Luann's journey, people would be like, what is this garbage? This is not real. Someone who starts off as a countess and writes a book about manners and then sleeps with a pirate, and then gets divorced. Well, she gets divorced before then. And then she has a whirlwind romance with someone named Tom D'Agostino, who's not of the D'Agostino fortune. And then he cheats on her. And she goes on a drunken bender, gets arrested, then like squirms out of her handcuffs, which I don't even know how you can do that. And then goes to jail. And then comes back and decides to be a cabaret star. And then she starts doing cabaret all the time. All the while, she releases one song every 3 years. That's like a strange, like spoken word song. And then, like in the end, now her latest incarnation is she's like, I love dick. So she's just like horny all the time. It's like the most amazing trajectory of all time.
Iconic.
Great choice.
Have you seen her do cabaret?
Oh, I have. I've seen her show twice. Yeah.
Do you recommend?
Well, she has a new tour out right now. I'm not sure what's going on. She's an evolving artist. And, in the first time I saw her, she sang like her 3 songs. And then she had like a whole, because that's her greatest hits is like a CD single. So, then after, like, she would sing one of her songs and then go do a costume change, and then like actual Broadway singers would come out, and it was an amazing show. It was like Cheyenne Jackson and Shoshana Bean, and like it was great. And then the second time I saw her, she was feeling more confident, so she was doing more singing and she was playing the bongos. There were not as many Broadway cameos, and that was just a different experience. And more power to her. It was not great.
Okay, so depending on the type of show she does, you'd recommend.
You know what? I would recommend it no matter what. Her shows are really fun because it's all Bravo people, and she's great. She can't hit a note for the life of her, and she gets up there and she's like, yeah, and she's living her life. She's so happy. She's gorgeous. She's ridiculous. I will always stand for Countess Luann no matter what, and Honestly, I might see the Marry Fuck Kill tour when it comes to LA because it's kind of Luann.
Yes, we should all go.
Ooh, I know.
Ben, what is your favorite franchise right now on Bravo?
I think it's Salt Lake City. In terms of Real Housewives, Salt Lake City is really like at a top tier. I think Salt Lake City is like in the S tier, as they say. I think Miami is also an S tier show. Miami is like has probably the deepest bench on Bravo because it's like you got the mains who are all amazing, and then you also have like 3 different top tier, like unbelievable friends ofs. So I think Miami and Salt Lake are like the best right now. In terms of non-housewives, I think that Summer House is killing it. I love Summer House Martha's Vineyard too. And Vanderpump Rules, I actually love this season of Vanderpump Rules. People say it's slow, but I think it's actually really good. The season has been really good because they've been grappling with something that's real. And they're also grappling with something that's interesting, which is what do you do if someone in your friend circle winds up being the most hated person in the country? Like, that's cool to see. So I'm down for it.
We love it. We love it.
Okay, our last Bravo breakdown question for you. If you could be on any Bravo show, which one would you be on?
I mean, I think I'd be on Top Chef. I think that'd be really fun. Yeah, to be a taster. Yeah, Top Chef. I love Top Chef. Top Chef is so good. Great. Even though like Padma's gone, which is like I think a real problem. I mean, Kristen's great. You know what? She doesn't have. She's not bringing me campy gay appeal, even though she herself is a member of the community. Yes. But like Padma got up there and she would just be like just glamorous and she would just be so passive aggressive. Like, did you mean for that to have no flavor? It's like she always would ask that. Whereas Kristen's just like nice and media trained.
She's like too nice, yeah.
She is very knowledgeable about food. She's like an authority that I trust. But the downside is I'm like, if you told me like what's Kristen's personality, I'd be like, nice. She likes to wear tank top kind of things. I don't know.
Yeah, the vest shirt combos have been interesting this season.
She's very vest forward. Yeah.
Yes, very.
Definitely miss Padma's fashion.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I missed the glamour factor with Padma.
Totally. Yeah. Who do you think's going to win this season of Top Chef?
Ooh, I think it might be Rasika.
She's killing it. Yes.
Killing it. Rasika. Or the guy that like she like goes jogging with. I forgot his name. He's really good too.
Yes, I know you're talking about. And the pitmaster, the barbecue pitmaster.
Oh, I love her. Because every episode she's like, I make barbecue. I haven't made sushi in, for 12 years. And they're like, and the winner is pitmaster lady. It's like every single week. She's like, I don't know how to do this. And she just kicks ass.
Every single week.
Love it. Underdog story.
Okay, that was our Bravo breakdown. Thank you, Ben.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Love that.
Okay, are we ready to dive in to Beverly Hills?
I'm so ready.
Okay, so for the background of Beverly Hills, it started in 2010. Crazy. So long ago.
Ooh, long time.
Wow, it's 14 years old. Jeez.
Crazy. And we've been watching it since the beginning. So
yes, we
OG fans over here.
Wow.
This was the first season without Lisa Rinna after 8 seasons, which was kind of crazy. She had become like a main character for the show, but I think she needed a break.
She got way too wrapped up. Yeah, it's a shame.
Because she used to be really great. I love the Lisa,
great.
But
I think when she started trying to copy Erica is where she lost the thread. When she was like, Erica would show up in like a look. And then Lisa would be like, oh, here's my look too. And you're like, she just started to, and then Erica would be like, I don't give a fuck. And then she'd be like, I don't give a fuck. And you're like, okay, Lisa Rinna.
Oh gosh. Yeah, she went a little bit off the rails towards the end. But we got a new housewife, Annemarie. Annemarie Wiley. Yes.
Yes, it's just like a drive-by housewife. She was there. And then she wasn't there.
Yes.
Blink and you'll miss her. Yes. So what were your expectations, Ben, coming into this season? we had heard these rumors about Kyle and Mauricio right before the season started. Lisa Rinna is no longer here. Like, what were you expecting going in?
I was expecting just another Beverly Hills season where we'd have endless episodes of doing nothing and trying on, like, walking into hotel lobbies and everyone goes, oh my God, is that Gucci? That's Gucci. Oh my God, Versace. I love it. For just going on and on and on. It's like literally my least favorite part of the show is when they do, it's when Bravo tries to make you feel like, wow, look at these high fashions on these women. I'm like, I don't care. I want to hear them do something stupid. So I thought it was just gonna be another one of those, but it wasn't really. It was a pretty lively season.
Yes, that's so true. I feel like Beverly Hills specifically has so many antics, like, oh, look at us, we're at the Beverly Hilton, and Sutton's with the stylist and looking at all this vintage custom stuff from France.
So much about that. Yeah. And I you know what? I thought this season was going to be like Denise Richards' final season, where you had an entire season where nothing happened, and then for like the last 3 episodes it was like, did you sleep with Brandy? So I thought it was going to be like nothing, and then like, oh no, Kyle and Mauricio. But I was surprised that it was actually like pretty prevalent the entire time.
I initially wasn't going to watch this season, but then our mom and sister, like family, were like, you have to watch Beverly Hills. It's actually really good. And then I got sucked in. I was like, oof, it's back.
It's back. I had like one really bad season. I feel like maybe a Teddy Mellencamp season in there, but
yes, might have been when I stopped watching.
Teddy, yeah, it's weird for a show that's like a little humdrum. It does kind of like chug along pretty reliably. It's never as white hot as like Salt Lake City this past season, or some of the other, like New York in its prime, or some other ones, but it just sort of is strong, like it's reliable.
Yeah, it's always pretty solid. I totally agree with that.
So true.
Let's dive into the beefs from the season. Okay, first we got to talk about it. The fights. Quickly, esophagus gate. What did you think? We don't want to beat a dead horse too much with the whole esophagus thing, but what were your thoughts?
Yeah, that was wild. I kind of liked it. I think a lot of people like, not the esophagus again. I was like, I'm kind of into this ridiculous fight. I feel like Annemarie, she came on, or Annemarie, I should say, she came on, and I feel like she got advice from like producers or Kyle, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, like they say you should have a thing, so I'm gonna like try to make a splash. And then she just started doing the esophagus thing, and it just she didn't bring it up so much. I think it was only 3 episodes, really. If you really look at it, 3, maybe 4, but it just they just kept on throwing back to it, and that was a swing and a miss on her part. Like, she never recovered from that.
I know. I totally
not
agree.
a good look.
And it's like, why? Like, it's also like, why are you putting your medical reputation on this petty moment right here about an esophagus? Like, also because you're not a doctor, and it's not to disparage nurses, because nurses do tremendous things, and nurses obviously have medical insight. But if you're going to go on TV and start saying, like, making proclamations about a medical condition, you're just going to like run into, like, it's just a risky thing to do if you're not like certified to make those claims.
Good segue to our next beef. Annemarie versus Crystal, and Dr. Gate versus nurse. Do we think Annemarie ever said, oh, I'm a doctor? Or do you think Crystal misheard this whole thing?
That I feel like Crystal must have misheard, because as ridiculous as Annemarie is, I just don't think any nurse is going to do that. I think that nurses, like, I think there's like a pretty clear line between like nurse and doctors, and apparently there's like some actual culture wars that goes on between them. And I think there's also a lot of pride in being a nurse, but I can imagine her being maybe slippery with her words. Maybe she said something ambiguous and Crystal heard it some way. It's also weird that you meet someone a year ago and then you have a distinct memory of like, oh, that person said they were a doctor. I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, you could have just misheard it.
Yeah. And she didn't let it go. I agree. Crystal really did not like Annemarie. Like, you could feel like there was something underlying. I don't know what it was, but it seemed more than Dorit.
maybe what it was when Annemarie brought up the esophagus thing to Crystal and was like, well, it could just be like, a sign of like an eating disorder. And then Annemarie, like 5 seconds later, was like, oh, well, Crystal said it was an eating disorder, which is like a specific trigger point for Crystal too. So
yeah,
that's probably why she hated her.
Oof.
That was so
Annemarie didn't handle that well. That's for sure.
No, that was
She
bad.
came in
She was
hot.
like, she just kept on digging herself into a hole.
Did you think that Crystal said to Annemarie that, oh, these women are uneducated, they're not very smart?
Yes, 100%. I do believe that. What? Like, of course, Crystal's, if she goes to a cocktail party, which she thinks is like off camera and like with people who have nothing to do with the show and probably even look down with it, she's like, oh yeah, I'm like a real housewife. Like, I'm a show with these bunch of idiots, but whatever, it's fun. Of course she did that.
100%.
I think I would do that. I support her doing that.
And I love the producers are so funny for this. When they showed the clip, they kept showing that clip of Crystal being like, yeah, they're not very educated. Like, I'm so much smarter than them. They're not very classy. Like, so good. So good.
It was great. And I loved when they showed that the reunion and none of them were like, excuse you, I'm very educated. They were like, yeah. Well. Like half of us are, we're soap stars or whatever. Not that that's, you're uneducated if you go into soaps, but that a lot of them were probably just like, oh, well, I left school. I dropped out of school and, to do commercials,
Curious how you felt about the Dorit versus Garcelle Karen attack gate.
I don't think that Dorit was being intentional, because she's right. Everyone's always like, especially on Beverly Hills, where it's like, could you please pass the butter? Why are you attacking me? Like this is the most, everyone like
very dramatic and sensitive.
Like no one on this cast could ever hang with like Salt Lake City or Miami or old school New York, because like these women are take everything so personally in the smallest thing. And it's like, can you believe that she said that? Can you believe that Sutton asked for the butter? Like, since when does she like butter? It just seems strange to me. Maybe she's unhappy. And like, whereas on Miami, like if you're like, can you please pass the butter? You have Alexia, I'd be like, oh, well, you want the butter now? But I don't even need the butter. And why are you even asking for that right now? You know what? You should go fuck yourself. So like, these women are prone to saying attack all the time.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that Garcelle's not allowed to react. I mean, like, and how many times has Garcelle had to like tiptoe around, like, and sort of like politely tell Dorit, like, by the way, microaggressions.
Do you think Dorit has Karen energy?
Oh yeah. She's got like,
I think so too.
Upscale Karen energy. Oh yeah. Oh, totally. She does. She's kind of like a funny Karen though. Because she has a fake accent. I think if you're a Karen with a fake accent, it really helps.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I'm going to call the manager on you. You're like, okay.
Connecticut? Like.
So funny. I know, the British accent. I'm like, where'd that come from?
Yeah, well, it's just the British pocket of Hartford, Connecticut that we all know.
Yes.
We all know and love. You all know when you take the Merritt Parkway, there's, you have to watch out for cars driving on the wrong side by accident.
Oh, Dorit. Yeah, just so unaware. So unaware. Speaking of Dorit, so when Kyle was like, Dorit exaggerated our friendship. And Dorit bringing up, oh, you and Mo, are you guys having issues on camera? Like, what did you think of Dorit and Kyle's friendship this season?
That was so fucked up. Because, I mean, Dorit is definitely, Connecticut British Karen. But, like... So just it doesn't mean she doesn't have feelings, and like just to erase their friendship like that, like Kyle saying, "Oh well, wasn't that real?" That was so rude. And like, how many times has Kyle come teary-eyed to the reunion and been like, "We're just like really close. Like, I just can't believe you would do that to me because we're really close." She's always claiming closeness in friendships. I mean, look at her with Jamie Lee Curtis. She's acting like Jamie Lee Curtis is like. Literally like their partners, like tennis partners or something. I don't know, like, she sees Jamie Lee Curtis once every 4 years. And she's like, my friend, Jamie Lee Curtis. And then Dorit, who she actually does things with, she's like, well, it's not really a friendship. I barely know her. That was so rude. I would, if I were Dorit, I mean, Dorit let her off easy, I think. I would have taken that thing off her head and strangled Kyle with it. I would have been so mad.
The red turban, just...
Yeah, exactly. We're just like... lightly smacked her with it so it wouldn't really hurt because it's just cloth. I guess what it is that Kyle got so offended about Dorit saying one little thing, and then Kyle does something that is significantly more offensive, which is to erase their friendship.
Yeah.
And then is like surprised that Dorit is upset. I think that was my point. I just got sidetracked because that's what happens because, you know, you guys have activated me because Beverly Hills really also, for how little happens, I'm always surprised at how much I get whipped into a frenzy talking about it.
Right.
Yes. Something about these women, they just get you riled up.
I mean, obviously your mom got riled up because she told you guys to watch it.
Yes.
Right?
She did.
Your mom
something
knows.
about it. She does.
She knows everything.
Yes. She's always on it with these shows. Like Laura said, she was on Salt Lake City before we watched, so she has a good sense for when a good season's coming.
Oh yeah, Salt Lake City was magnificent.
Speaking of Kyle, she had a lot of other beefs this season, particularly with Sutton and Garcelle. You know, those friendships had a lot of tension with Sutton and drinking and the iconic Name 'em scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then the weed dinner party, being asked about her new wedding band. What were your thoughts on all of that drama?
Well, you know, Kyle started off the season, I felt, actually in a really compelling place. I felt like Kyle had been through the trauma of losing her best friend. She'd been through everything with Kathy. And it seemed like she had just grown tired of maintaining a facade. She just wants to be real Kyle. And I was like, I feel like we're getting an authentic version of Kyle for the first time in many years. And I was like really actually liking it. But then she sort of slid into her old ways. And I think that, like, was it rude for Sutton to be nosy and ask Kyle about what's going on with Mauricio, especially in a public setting? It was rude. But at the same time, you've got Kyle like walking around without the ring on, with a different ring on, and there is a full lifestyle change. It like makes sense that a friend, especially someone who's on a show where you're mandated to like ask prying questions that you wouldn't do in real life. It's not surprising, especially given that Kyle has often been the one who has been on the other side of it. She has often been the one be like, where's your ring? You know, I mean, not an exact quote, but you know that she would do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like she knows she would say something. She'd be like, oh, so-and-so doesn't have a ring. And then she'd go and have coffee. Like, the other night, I noticed I didn't have a ring on. I guess my point is, I was really happy that she had to be on the receiving end of it. And she could not handle it for the life of her.
No.
The weed party dinner, she like broke down. And I loved when Erica was like, these girls are ruining my high. Like, I'm going to just have a nice time and a nice buzz at this dinner.
Erica's a mood.
But everyone else was just slowly breaking down at that dinner.
I love how Kyle couldn't understand why, you know, Sutton is so nosy, and she is such like the Southern lady who's like, I couldn't help but notice you weren't wearing your wedding band. But also, you're not wearing your wedding band. And you've mentioned that you had issues with Mauricio, and you're in the tabloids, and you've made 2 significant lifestyle changes. Like, people are going to ask. I'm surprised. I just can't believe that she acts like she was not expecting that. And then what's also compounded it, what really frustrated Ronnie and I on the podcast, was that for years Kyle would run people off the show like Denise Richards, and it was always under this always under the guise of be open and honest. You're not being open and honest with us, Denise. Like, were you having an affair with Brandy? Be open and honest. And now when everyone wants Kyle to be open and honest, she runs away from it, and then on the reunion says, I think I'm entitled to a little bit of privacy every now and then.
Convenient now.
Hypocrisy is very frustrating. Yeah.
Totally. Like, as the words of Robin Dixon, what can we share on this show and what can we keep private, you know? It's a good question. Yes.
Well, I mean, look, everyone's entitled to like draw a line for what they're going to put on national TV. It's just that like you can't be the one who is like badgering other people to be more honest. And then when it comes to you, you're going to clam up.
And you brought up a good point about Denise Richards. I loved her cameos this season. They were so good, so refreshing, so chaotic. At the weed dinner with her upside down jacket, iconic.
So good.
So good. So good. What did you think when she was like, watch the show, Erica? Watch the show. Like, what was going on in your mind when that happened?
Well, with Denise, you don't know, because when she says watch the show, she could be talking about Family Feud. She's like, survey said.
What show?
You know, but I think that she was talking about, like, she was saying, like, why am I angry with you? Did you not see our season? Like, of course I'm angry with you. You were so mean to me, and you guys, like, you guys harassed me over Brandy Glanville. But she's, you know, Denise has always been so bad at arguing her case. When she was on the show, she was like a full-on disaster. So
yeah,
it's no surprise to me that she made no sense at that dinner and wore her jacket upside down.
Her chaos is art for our benefit. We love you.
Yeah,
Denise.
totally.
Completely agree.
Okay, and the biggest beef of all, Kyle and Mauricio. What do you think?
Oof.
What were you like? Did you see this coming at all?
Well, I was gonna say no, but of course we remember Alison Dubois, who told us about it 14 years ago.
Yes,
she
iconic.
Knew. I mean, I could pretend and say, like, well, we always knew there was trouble in paradise, or like he's too wealthy and too good looking to not be banging chicks on the side, blah 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 blah. There were rumors. I did not see it really coming. I was surprised when I got the news. I was surprised. My theory is really that, like, when her friend died, I think that she was probably in a very vulnerable place, and she probably needed Mauricio in a way that she probably hadn't needed him before. And he may not have shown up when she needed him the most because he was super busy and doing things.
Right.
And maybe it highlighted a chasm that they have. And also, don't forget, my favorite theory of all that I talked about all season long is that, you know, Portia's what? She's like 14 or 15 or something like that. She's driving soon. She's becoming independent. How many times have we seen it where the last kid is kind of out of the house? There are no more children to really baby. And suddenly you can't pour all of your attention away from the problems in your marriage and into your children, because this happens a lot. Kids go off to college and the marriage falls apart. So I think it's a little bit of both of those things.
I did not think of that theory. That's good.
Yeah, everyone's like the daughters are out. Well, they're not really out of the house because they're kind of back in the house, but like, but Kyle has no one left to mother. She has no one left to, you know, distract her from fundamental issues with Mauricio.
What did you think about Morgan Wade?
Are they dating?
I feel like they're dating, and I thought it was strange that that Kyle was not more upfront. There's like a queer baiting element about it that does not sit well with me.
Yeah.
And also, like, there is like a certain amount of like I'll show you a little bit, but you don't get to know the full story, which also I think that it's it feels like she's really relishing living in that taboo space of dating a woman, which I think actually is kind of offensive. In a way, you're kind of promoting that LGBTQ is taboo, and it's not taboo at all. And the fact that it's sort of like, I'll shoot a music video where I come very close to kissing her. I'll swap tattoos with her. But either she's not in a relationship and she is queer baiting, or she is in a relationship and she's kind of enjoying the spectacle. And I feel like being gay shouldn't be a spectacle.
Yikes.
Unless you're like a drag queen, because you're literally making a spectacle in the best way. In a good way, not an offensive way, I should say.
I think you're spot on, especially since they showed like flashbacks to past seasons, and Kyle was like, oh, I would never like kiss a girl. And like, she was so prudish about it.
If she is gay and she is finally exploring that, like, I'm really happy for her. And again, like, everyone does it on their own timeline, and, you know, no one should have to come out of the closet before they're ready. I just think that her strange, like, if she is in the closet, it's like she set up like a GoPro in there, and it's like, we know you're in there. Why do you have a GoPro on? Like, we want to respect your closet, but you, like, you know, don't half-ass it.
Yes. We touched on the reunion a little bit. Were there any other highlights from the reunion besides Dorit's bizarre look that you wanted to touch upon?
The stray hair.
Well, it was great to see Kathy Hilton again.
Yes.
I continue to be a Kathy Hilton fan, even if she did allegedly say the F word. Here I am talking about LGBTQ, and like, how could Kyle do that? She's using us as props. And I'm like, well, Kathy allegedly said the F word at a club in Aspen, but you know what, though? She's so hilarious.
Her cameo was iconic, and the fact that she basically caused Sutton's panic attack was...
Oh, that was great.
Perfect for TV.
I mean, Dorit dressing like E.T. was fun. It was like E.T. on the cover of National Geographic. It was like a little mixture of both.
Yeah, it was
Remember
something.
that lady?
It's like she's in the Sahara Desert. Like, what was lots of
like,
questions.
it's fashion. It's fashion.
It's fashion. It's above our heads, clearly. It's fashion.
I enjoyed Andy trolling Dorit by yawning 3 times at her.
I know.
So funny.
That was crazy.
Dorit had a rough reunion and a kind of a rough season.
She did.
She's the Connecticut British Karen. She is not friends with Kyle.
Marriage counseling.
She had a really bad Pretty Woman anniversary.
Traumatic Pretty Woman dinner.
Didn't get to keep the necklace.
Didn't get to keep the wrong band singing the song.
Ooh.
Yeah, rough season. And she's a brunette now. What do we think of for the brunette hair?
Yeah, looks good. Yeah. I liked her as a blonde more, to be honest, but
I think
I'm down for the brunette.
Okay, red flag, green flag, 1, 2, 3. So Ben, Shelby and I will ask you some hot questions, and you gotta give us your hot takes.
Okay, great.
Okay, is it a red flag to question someone's medical diagnosis? So Annemarie to Sutton.
I would say yes. That's like the deepest, most vibrant color red.
Even if you're a medical professional.
Well, actually, wait. I take it back. I'll reduce a shade of red because I did think, like when Yolanda was on, like I think it was fair to question that medical situation there a little bit.
So some medical condition.
Some medical, yes. If it's fun, then yes. If it's kind of like messed up, then no.
Yeah, I agree. That reminded me of when Giselle was like, cancer, no cancer to Mia. Do you remember that?
Oof.
Yeah, that's the thing there, because that also. But I think a cancer scare is a totally legitimate thing to be like, well, I had a cancer scare.
Yeah.
But like there are, like Kim Zolciak, I think like that's fun medical questioning. I would say overall, though, generally speaking, it's like a red flag. You really shouldn't do that.
Yes.
But you also shouldn't lie about your medical situation either.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe in Orange County, Brooks and Vicky.
Brooks and Vicky. Question that.
Yikes.
That's a red flag too.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything but red flags on Bravo, actually.
That is true.
Well, let's see if this could be a green flag. Is it a green flag to question a friend's lifestyle changes? So basically everyone to Kyle.
I think it's a green flag.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a green flag. I think it's good to check in on someone if all of a sudden they just change everything and they're acting like everything's normal. It's good to do like a little bit of a wellness check. Like, what's going on? How do you feel? You got something going on?
Yeah.
How you feel?
Did you agree with how the ladies approached it with Kyle? Because they were like, you're not drinking. Like, we want fun Kyle back.
You're working out on the vacation.
That was maybe not a proper response, but it was funny for me because it made Kyle so uncomfortable. But like, if someone's going sober, like the worst thing you could say to them is like, oh, but we want the fun version of you back. I wouldn't do that.
Yikes.
That was so
not
cringy.
The right approach.
Yeah,
no,
but funny.
But yeah, good TV. Good TV.
Good TV.
Very good.
So overall, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, was this season a wait or a watch? What do we think?
Oh, it was a watch.
Yeah.
It was a watch. I think
100%.
It was really good. I would have liked a few more like epic dinner parties, but like we had like such major stuff come out of this season. You know, Name 'Em and the esophagus thing. And I thought the night when they were in Spain and they invited some like European intellectuals to come to dinner, and none of them knew what to do. They were all like trying to be prim and proper. And there was like, oh, this is Monica Delgado, who designed, she's an architect who won the Pritzker, and she designed a fabulous plaza in downtown. And this is so-and-so who's a professor of fine arts at the University of Barcelona. Like everyone was like erudite and established. And you have Kyle being there like, well, I was on an episode of ER.
And then you have Erica like actually being like, oh, how about oil in the Middle East? And you're like, wait, what is happening?
What a shock.
Erica was doing a pretty good job of like not actually saying anything smart, but responding in a smart way. Like she's like, oh, well, yeah, well, of course I've heard about that poet in Lebanon. Everyone's heard about it. It was the poet writes poetry, correct? Like, yes, that's correct.
So funny.
So good.
Yes, your voices are so good. All those years, the training with Tom for Erica, clearly it benefited her in some way. She can talk to erudites, you know?
Yes.
It all paid off.
It was worth it. She's
it.
like, someday I'm going to be in Spain and there'll be some big paella being cooked and someone will be an architect and I'll be able to make small talk.
There we go. I agree with you, Ben. I think this season was a watch.
It was really good. I think it just got overshadowed a little bit. It didn't get that overshadowed because it is like the #1 show on Bravo. But I feel like in terms of buzz, like when Salt Lake City was on, I mean, everyone was talking about Salt Lake. It was, and especially after that finale, just no one could get enough of it. So people were talking about Beverly Hills, but then they weren't. I felt like the focus was on Salt Lake.
On to our What to Watch segment. Okay, so Ben, what are things, doesn't have to be in the Bravo universe, but what are things you're currently watching and really enjoying these days?
Well, The Traitors was the big non-Bravo thing for a while. I watched Survivor. I'm like 3 episodes behind, but I love Survivor. I haven't been watching too many other things though. Like Bravo has taken up a lot of my time, and when I'm not watching Bravo, I kind of want to like do other things. Love Island. I love Love Island.
Ariana, host.
That's a great choice. I think that's going to be really good because Sarah Hyland, I don't know how she even got cast on it. Like that was a bizarre choice and not helpful to the brand.
Did you watch Love Island All Stars?
I did watch it. Did you guys watch it?
Yes, we did.
It was so interesting. It was really good. I really missed Casa Amor.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Classic.
I was waiting for it to happen.
Because at first I was like, I don't know if I like this because they all know each other and you're like missing that magic of discovery. But then I really got into it and they all were so ridiculous. And freaking Georgia. Oh my God. Well, Georgia, both Georgias, but Georgia Steele. The worst.
So bad.
I hated her the first time around. And then the second time around, when she's like, I mean, the way that Toby stood up there, said those things, you know, means something when you say those things. It doesn't mean anything. Toby is the biggest fuckboy that's ever been on this show.
Clown. Oh my gosh. Watching them together on the show was like revolting. Absolutely.
Bad.
She was terrible.
Fuming.
Actually, you know what? I didn't watch the finale now that I think about it, but the Love Island finale is actually always the worst episode of the season. So
not the ending, at least I wanted. So you didn't miss much.
It was like I didn't even care who won at that point. It was Molly, right?
Yeah.
Molly won with
Molly and Tom. Yeah.
I don't get the Tom thing.
Yeah, like, why are people like obsessed with him?
I have a friend who's like, he's so hot. I'm like, he's not.
He's tall.
He's tall, has strange facial hair. No personality.
Oh, zero.
None.
Don't love the hair. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I didn't think Molly was great. I thought Molly was actually very annoying.
Yeah, all of them are obsessed with her. All the guys love her. I don't know. She seems fine.
I didn't understand to your point, like the fact that everyone thought she was like the #1. It was like her and Georgia Steele everyone wanted. And I was trying to understand like
my bottom twos.
Why?
I was so happy when Chris was kicked off.
Oh yeah,
because I could not stand him. From the beginning, I was like, this guy thinks he's way funnier and wittier than he actually is. And remember, in the beginning, they all were like fawning over him. I think because he had a cameo in Barbie. They're like, that's pretty cool. I just want a more mature man. I was like, this guy is so rude. I thought what he did to Arabella was so fucked, and I feel like it just got glossed over. But like, he was so disrespectful to her, and then made it seem like she was the crazy one, and then they all thought she was crazy.
Yeah,
they thought she was crazy the whole season. I mean, she was a little nutty when she like. I felt like so. I watched the whole season. I was like, I'm into sewing, and I was like sewing a shirt, and so I watched as I was sewing. I was just watching the shows, and I felt like it was like every 3 episodes, it's Arabella like, this always happens to me, right? When I like someone, like, it's like, why me? Like, what's happened to me?
And she's this tall, gorgeous, beautiful, thin model, like who's probably has every man after her.
Everyone, and then a guy would come in and she would match up. She'd be like, finally, I felt like the last guy like was good, but like this is really what I've been looking for. And then he'd get like voted off or kicked off. And she'd be like, and then be like a new person, be like, finally, like this time it's like a remember the way she was really trying to sell her and the wrestler because she knew that time was running out. So she's like, guys, I just really feel like it's just been amazing. It's been like one afternoon, but I could already tell this is like a forever thing. And just like I feel like it's just like wild. I think like we're like really connected now.
Selling hard.
Yes, she did not want to leave.
She's like, hello, Britain. Vote for me to win.
Yeah, don't dump me.
Shelby, is there anything related to Beverly Hills that's coming up? Things we need to know?
Well, season 14 hasn't officially been announced, but I would be shocked if it didn't come back. I would expect Beverly Hills to come back.
It will definitely come back.
Yeah. I will say Annemarie announced on Instagram that she was not asked back to the show. And her statement was I'd say she was not happy.
Yeah. I think like the vibe was kind of like, you guys approached me to join the show. You guys were already shooting. And then you put me on the show for like 5 seconds. And you probably told me to do these things, AKA talk about an esophagus probably. And then you're surprised that the audience didn't connect with me. And then you kick me off. But I feel like there may be some of it maybe because of her husband, because he has there's like rape allegations against him, which is not what Bravo loves. Not a good look for Bravo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I think she and her husband may have some like political views that are like a little bit more right leaning in a way that like doesn't like necessarily jive with Bravo's audience, maybe, or
yikes. Yeah, Shelby,
so I think there's more to the story.
Yeah, I did see something that I guess her husband had some negative comments about trans athletes a year or so ago.
Oh gosh.
And that they might be rumored Trump supporters. I heard that and I was like, what? So I could imagine that Bravo may not love that as a part of their brand. And now hearing their allegations, I'm like, oh, that makes more sense to me is why she might not be.
And she they probably minimized her role in the season actually when the allegations came out.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Nothing's an accident.
Wow. You're dropping so many gems, Ben.
I know.
Like, thank you. You
Thank
have
goodness you're here.
I hope that they actually can be verified, because imagine I'm like, and the husband has a rape allegation. It's like, there's literally nothing on the internet that says that. No, I'm pretty sure that that's real though.
Okay, good.
And the last thing I'll say is Buying Beverly Hills is on Netflix, Mauricio's show. I have not seen it, but apparently it goes through more of the drama between
it's supposed to be good
of Mauricio and Kyle's split.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's really good, because I thought the first season I couldn't even get through the first episode, so I was like, there's no way I'm going back to this dumpster fire. But people are saying season 2 is really good.
Oh,
might need to watch.
Watch. Okay, we did it. Thank you, Ben, for being here. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you'd like to say?
We're doing some live shows coming up. We're doing a show in Hollywood on May 3rd for Netflix as a Joke. So come check us out there at the Kookaburra Lounge, which is a new comedy club at Hollywood and Highland. And then we have some international shows coming up. We're going to be doing a show in London and Dublin and Birmingham, UK. In late May.
Cool.
So if any of your international listeners hear this and want to come to a show and meet a bunch of other people who are into Bravo, just look us up. You can go to watchwhatcrappens.com. And then, of course, we're at Watch What Crappens on Instagram, and I'm at Ben Mandelker on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. So check it out.
Wow.
Yes, please check out Ben and Watch What Crappens. Hilarious podcast for all the Bravo content. You will definitely have a good time when you tune in, and definitely check out one of their live shows.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Thank you for being here. This was so fun. I've been laughing the whole time.
Yes.
Great episode.
If you like this episode of Sisters Who Watch, go support Watch What Crappens and Ben and his podcast. And of course, go support SWW. Go follow us on all social media platforms at Sisters Who Watch. TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. Twitter, we're there, so go support us and give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, and leave us a review.
Yes, and you can follow us on YouTube, you can DM us on social media, email us. We want to hear from y'all. We're super grateful for your support. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.